Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News Channel. We are here to talk about the ancient death cross of doom. And there's some good information on Cointelegraph, this article. I will actually link this article in the description. And we're going to take some of the data from this article and I'm going to give you some of my commentary on it. We're going to talk about the death cross because it's actually going to form and how does it actually impact prices? And in crypto, what are the historical instances? Now, if you're looking at the stock market, the death cross essentially, like recently, they've basically resulted in about a 10% decrease in terms of price. But that's average. There's been times where it didn't work at all. There's been times it's actually been a lot worse. A 10% decrease in price for Bitcoin isn't really all that much. It'd be around $4,000 drop, which would actually drop us to about 34,000, which would actually be above our bottom right now. But what about the last three Bitcoin death crosses? So the death cross did actually kind of like end our last bull run in 2017. The death cross actually formed on March 30th, 2018, when the pair actually closed at 6,848. But the selling actually continued and the bear market bottomed actually at about half that price. So after the death cross, even though it actually fell already 65%, it fell about 50% more after the death cross. So the death cross at that time was a good signal. The time after that, the pair had actually formed a death cross on October 26, 2019, and the price closed at 9,259. And that already fell like, 33% from 13,868. And after that, Bitcoin fell 30% more. So that was a good signal as well. But let me remind you for the first signal, that was actually the Craig Wright doing like the whole hash war thing. I do not think the prices would have fallen that much further if he didn't do like that whole hash war thing. If we actually look back at 2018's price and the death cross actually occurring on March 30th on 2018, if we actually extrapolate this data out, for those of you that don't know, on Cointelegraph, you can actually just drag this bar out here, and we're going to look at specifically 2018. So March 30th, 2018, as the data actually shows, that's when the death cross actually formed. And you can actually see that after March 30th, it actually went up to like, $8,000. And realistically, it didn't really drop all that much until Craig Wright did his dumb like hash war. That was a completely unpredictable event. And if Craig Wright didn't do his hash war, it really wouldn't have dropped. So that's kind of like an unpredictable event that actually led the death cross to completion. But realistically, it didn't dump really anymore until like November 15th, about 8 months after the death cross. So I would say like that 2018 death cross is pretty invalid because it didn't really dump until like over half a year after the death cross, and that was due to the hash war. 2019, that was a pretty good predictor. What about 2020? So the most recent death cross before this one formed was actually on March 26, 2020, and that's when the BTC USD pair closed at 6,758. However, that one didn't actually work because you remember after March, Bitcoin essentially just like skyrocketed up. So this was a really, really bad indicator. So the death cross doesn't always work. And I don't really think it's going to actually work this time. And remember, like the low was already established about 2 weeks back at 3,858 on March 13th before this death cross. So, and that low obviously we know as the COVID low. So because the COVID event already made the Bitcoin market go to its low, the death cross didn't really mean anything because COVID essentially formed that death cross as well. So this time, I think we're actually more in a bullish market, and I don't really think this death cross will actually mean that much. I mean, I guess Craig Wright could do another hash war, but I don't think that's actually going to happen. The only thing that I think that can make this death cross become reality is like like countrywide regulations or worldwide regulations. That's what actually people are actually afraid of. But barring that, I don't really see this being a very good death cross signal. The death cross did not work last time. Like this time you could call it like the Elon Musk effect or like the meme coin effect. If that's actually sort of like over, where Elon's not tweeting that much anymore, the death cross may not actually have that much effect, especially if institutions keep on adopting. So I am definitely not all that. I'm definitely not all that afraid of this death cross. I don't think it's going to be that great of a signal. Despite like there could be another like catastrophic event in the future that could actually trigger it, like Craig Wright's hash war, or like a second wave of COVID or something. That's definitely possible. But we can just be reminded that death crosses in the past for Bitcoin have not always been all that successful in predicting. And because of that, I mean, paying attention to the death cross is good, but I wouldn't put all your eggs in the death cross basket because it has been wrong in the past. And the last death cross was actually wrong because it would have told you to sell at, at the $6,000 mark after it had already bottomed at 3,000, and then you would have missed the run up. So don't put all your eggs in the death cross basket, but pay attention to the signals as well. But just don't do all your trading by them because they actually have been wrong in the past multiple times. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think, like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.